And so what'd you have after lunch?
After lunch, I had a small snack of a chewy granola bar and a small palmful of trail mix. Dinner is really the only meal I have time to make for myself, but I usually like to keep it pretty simple. Last night I had a pork chop, an ear of corn with butter, and some mashed potatoes. I also had some milk.
Okay. And using your hand, just for reference, about how big was your pork chop?
Probably about a palm and a half.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And what percent milk did you have?
2%.
2%?
Yeah.
About how much was
I
that?
had like a cup and a half.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Also, I had some dessert of light chocolate ice cream.
Okay. About how much?
About a cup.
Okay, great. And then just to kind of broaden the picture, I'm just going to ask you on a weekly basis, some typical foods that you eat. So do you usually have 2%, or is there any other type of milk?
Usually 2%,
All
yeah.
right, okay. And for vegetables, do you typically have fresh, frozen, canned vegetables?
Frozen.
Okay. All right. Anything that you particularly love or hate?
I love broccoli and carrots,
Okay.
lettuce. I really hate asparagus.
All right. And for fruits, do you find yourself having fruit juices, canned fruits, fresh fruits?
I like fruit juices and fresh fruit.
Okay. All right. And moving on to carbohydrates, bread, do you typically have white bread, wheat bread, anything like that?
Usually white bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And potatoes, pasta, rice,
Yeah, I love my starches, so
Okay.
I usually have a grain with every meal.
Okay, great. And proteins. So, do you use... That sounds so weird. So proteins. What types of protein do you eat? Do you like fish? Do you like chicken?
I like
red meat?
pretty much all protein except for
Okay.
red meats. I try
Okay.
and stay away from those.
Okay. And how many times a week do you say you would have protein?
Probably, 2 times a day, so 14 times a week.
Okay, all right, sounds good. And do you like cold cuts, deli meats,
Yeah.
bacon, sausages, those types of
Yeah.
things? About how many times a week do you say you would have something like that?
4 times.
Okay, all right. So another protein, eggs.
Yeah, I
How
usually
many times
grab
a
a
week?
breakfast sandwich 3 times a week.
Okay, all right. And cheese. Do you like cheese? Do you like...
Yes, I love cheese.
All right. How many times a week?
6.
Okay. And then when you're cooking your dinners, and usually when you put a spread or a fat on your foods, is it margarine? Is it butter? Is it oil?
I usually cook with olive oil or coconut oil, but then I like to put butter on my veggies.
Okay. All right. And I know you said you typically eat out for breakfast and lunch, so your use of convenience foods is pretty high.
It is.
And do you usually have dessert after you have dinner?
Yeah.
So about 5 times a week or
Yeah,
something
probably.
like that? Okay. So when you're snacking or grabbing something quick before lunch or dinner, do you ever grab candy or...
Not usually, no.
Okay, all right. So I know you have coffee in the morning. Do you drink tea, or is that an every morning type occurrence?
Yeah, I usually have coffee every morning and some tea.
Okay. And what about sodas? Do you drink those?
I do, usually with, lunch.
Okay, all right. And are you taking any vitamins or minerals, any supplements,
No.
anything?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So when you're cooking, do you usually add in salt as well?
I do.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I definitely have a good snapshot of what a typical day of eating is like for you. So now we can kind of move on to the portion where we can discuss some options for how you're going to cut your calories.
Okay.
Because looking at what you are typically eating, I would like to estimate that you're eating a little bit over, the recommended goal for what weight loss is, which
All right.
for you would be about 1,500 calories. So I know you have some previous knowledge of how to count your calories, and about what a portion size is and things like that. So we can talk about ways that we can cut your calories where you're not feeling totally deprived, where you're not feeling hungry like you were before, things like that. So I find that one of the easiest ways is to cut calorie containing drinks. So not drink your empty calories, things like that. Do you think you'd be willing to try cutting out the lemonade and juices and maybe replacing them with water for the next week?
Well, I don't really enjoy drinking water, so I might find it a little difficult to give up my juice and lemonade.
Okay, that's fine. Do you like anything like unsweetened iced tea or flavored seltzer waters?
I do.
Okay. Well, why don't you try for the next week maybe swapping something out with unsweet iced tea and lemon or flavored seltzer waters and see if that helps.
Sure, that sounds doable.
All right. And then just after looking at your typical intake, your grain choices aren't usually whole grains. They're typically simple white breads,
Right.
things like that. I'm wondering if maybe the reason that you were so hungry before on your low-calorie diet was because you didn't have these complex, slow-digesting carbohydrates that, keep you full between your meals.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely...